This week we received 3 updates in total, as well as a small patch for Counter-Strike, which is pretty incredible. Out of the 3 updates, the one from yesterday was the largest in size, it being 3 GB. But hold your horses, as it isn't any new content for the game, but rather some fixes for Valve-made maps. As always, of course, the timestamps for this video are in the description down below, so if you're looking for something specific, feel free of course to skip ahead. And now without any further delays, let's take a look at some of those changes. Since this update only focuses on map changes, let's start with the first map, Office. I spent a couple of hours yesterday trying to find as many of these bugs as possible, but I was unable to find all of them, which I'm quite sorry for. On Office, I was unable to find the specific one Valve was referring to, where they fixed the case where a player could get stuck between a prop and the ceiling. But instead I managed to find another spot where the player can get stuck in. In this specific location you can get stuck between the printer and the ceiling. However, in this specific instance you can easily unstuck yourself by simply crouching, so I'm pretty sure this was definitely not the one Valve was referring to, especially because it also works still after this update. Moving on to the next map, which is going to be Nuke. Nuke also received some small bug fixes, specifically 2 pixel walks or boost on bombsite A. The first one was next to vent. Here the player was able to slide on this edge, which was certainly quite interesting, as it definitely gave you an off angle. Although while doing this, the player was not fully accurate, so it did not really give you a tactical advantage. The second spot, however, was much more interesting. It was next to the fake vent, and it was a pixel boost, where the player was fully accurate on. Despite Valve fixing these 2 spots in particular, it did not take long for players to discover another one. This one literally being on the opposite side of the fake vent. I'm not entirely sure how Valve missed this one. Valve, please fix. Another quite hilarious bug was discovered on Nuke by DuDuck. Definitely make sure to follow them on Twitter, as you will hear their name a lot more throughout this video. This bug can be performed outside in Garage and allows you to turn yourself into a pancake? Yeah, this one is really cursed, to be honest. Anyways, let's move on to Mirage. Here Valve adjusted the collision on Van for smoother movement. I personally didn't really notice much of a difference here, but if you noticed something, feel free to leave a comment down below. They also ended up fixing a wall penetration issue around some of the arches, which I think refers to this. Prior to the update, and even in some instances after this update, the arches did not block the bullets but rather let them through. A view jittering issue when jumping on a crate near pillars, as well as some collisions that allowed smoke grenades to go inside a wall, have also been fixed. However, I was unable to find either of those bugs prior to the update, so apologies for that. They also adjusted the collisions on some props, which I was expecting to be a fix for this specific issue in Palace. However, even after this update, this one is still not better. Hopefully Valve can fix it soon. Some C4 stuck spots were also fixed with this update, which as far as I'm aware are the old ones showcased by DuDuck a little while ago, like the one in TV room, or the one on A side stairs. However, in the meantime he has already found some brand new stuck spots on quite a few maps, some of which I had to test specifically for Mirage. And lastly, for Mirage, we've also once again received some adjustments to the grenade clipping. But sadly in CS2 we do not have any console commands to visualize the clipping brushes with, which makes showcasing and finding these changes extremely difficult. So hopefully Valve can add these useful console commands back to the game. It would be very much appreciated. Inferno also received some fixes for C4 stuck spots, which I assume are once again some of the older ones that got fixed. So here's a relatively new one by DuDuck. Valve also ended up fixing the boost on Inferno that was possible in A-side pit, which already concludes the changes for Inferno. Italy received some performance improvements, which I tried to make a comparison for, as well as it receiving some clipping adjustments, possibly to fix some out-of-map boost or maybe something else. I honestly cannot really tell. Vertigo received some grenade clipping adjustments, which unfortunately I'm once again unable to showcase. For Ancient, they fixed the Monesy pixel peek on bombsite B, which was this tiny gap that allowed you to peek through the wall, which was definitely pretty interesting. As well as them also fixing a bad clip edge that players were getting stuck on at T-spawn. And DuDuck once again showcases another bug for this map, this cool boost for Cave, which gives you a nice off angle. Moving on to Anubis, where we once again received some grenade clipping adjustments, as well as some C4 stuck spots being fixed. However, DuDuck once again strikes, and already found more C4 stuck spots in the meantime. Valve also apparently fixed some prop collisions, which could hide the C4. However, even after this update, I found a lot of props where you can simply hide a bump inside, so I'm not entirely sure which one Valve was referring to. And last but not least, we have Overpass, where I was unable to find any of the changes mentioned. We received some clipping adjustments near Park for smoother movement, which I hoped for was a fix for the benches on Party, sadly not the case. Valve also added some missing handrail collisions, as well as them fixing some minor visual bugs near Canal, which already concludes all of the bug fixes. However, as per usual with an update, Valve also introduced at least one new bug to the game, this time around for the radar, where the player icon on the radar seems to be misaligned. You can see a comparison on screen right now. However, this issue was already patched out with the update from last night, and as you can see, it's gone now. Which already concludes today's video. I hope it was informative and enjoyable to watch. If so, consider leaving a like and subscribing, and as always, of course, I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.